We got a big fella right here that he would definitely be getting off the bus first as we move inside to the lineman at the tackle position. He can play both of them, left or right tackle. 6'8", 350 pounds, out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. Was recruited by, I'm sure, everyone in their grandmother.
Yeah.
Jay Gardenhire.
Well, Michigan's another one of those states where they got really good football and good coaching, and so he's played against some big boys. And I like that. One of the things I like about our offensive line coach is that he really is 6'8", and played in the NFL. So when he stands next to a dude, whether the dude is actually that big. And this guy's standing next to him, and they're roughly the same size in terms of height. So he's at least as big as what they say. But I think he's another one that's going to need a little bit of time with Coach Mo and the coaching staff to get him ready to go. He's a little bit more raw than the other two guys we're going to talk about. But you don't mind taking a flyer on a kid this big who can move and shows the nastiness that he shows, because he's pretty violent in his films. He just got to learn to use his feet and hands right, because I used to tell my guys, when I'm coaching a guy, I had several guys that were recruited all over the country, and they were the best athlete on our team. And I said, you know what, you go up to the next level, you will never be the best athlete again, because you'll be an offensive lineman, and the dude across from you is going to be bigger and faster than you. So technique is everything. You got to learn that technique. And I think Jay Gardenhire is going to need a little time with Phil Loadholt and Gunnar White to get that down. But I think in the end, he's going to be a guy, if nothing else, a 6'8", 350, you stand him out there, it's going to take 3 minutes to run around him.
And he's young to the game of football. This is somebody that actually went to a prep school in New Jersey to play basketball. And it didn't take long for the football coaches there to recruit him over to their side of things. He played defensive end his first year in varsity football, first year playing football in general, his sophomore year. So he is green, and it's going to take some development. But to William's point, to echo what he said, you're going to take a chance on a 6'8", 350-pound guy that is pretty raw. And Phil Loadholt is I don't know what his measurables are these days, but Jaden Gardenhire is one of the guys that can actually, I wouldn't say he would make him look small, but he could be comparable to Phil Loadholt. And so he knows how to coach somebody his size, you would think.
I'm definitely think so, because he was a veteran on the outside for the Vikings for years, and if he could find somebody in his mold, look like he's wearing his same number too, that 71. Find somebody in his mold that he can kind of mentor and mold into the type of tackle that he was, then I'm all for it. I think it'll be a successful move for Bigg Gardenhire.
And one of the things that people don't realize is that at the biggest, height is great, but if you're tall and you got short arms, it don't work. So you got to have those long arms to keep a guy off of you. And I used to teach, the offensive lines, like, you keep that guy off of you, and you're going to win. You let him get inside, you're going to get beat. And so that's one of the things that Phil Loadholt could teach a kid like this is, and you got to figure a guy that played like almost 10 years in the NFL has credibility with a kid. He's like, I'm your height. I played your position. I'm gonna show you how to do this.
Yep. And I changed my family's life doing it. So you want to come? I know how to get there.
Yeah.
Here's a guy. If we move inside, he kind of looks like Kareem Harden right there in these pictures. But Chauncey Gooden, 6'4", 320, out of the state of Tennessee, Lipscomb Academy, class of 2025. This guy here is a road grader, big time offensive lineman in the run game. Not high on his pass blocking as I should be. I think he can improve there with some nice footwork and technique there. But overall, I think he has the mindset, the ability, and the skills to be a starting offensive guard in the Division I level.
Well, I think he's the best player on this list, and I think I would be very surprised if he's not in the mix in year one. And the other thing I like about him, one of the hardest things is to find is a center, believe it or not. But because a lot of guys cannot snap the ball and step at the same time, they got to step or they got to snap it and then move, right? And then you're half a second behind, you're going to get beat. This kid played some center, and his film at center was just as good as what he had at guard. And he's as physical as they come. I mean, he reminds me a lot of back in the day. Andre Giroud was a unanimous All-American.
Andre Giroud, I loved him.
played 10 years for the Cowboys and was just as dominant up at that level as he was at this level. Andre had the best play I've ever seen in my life in Colorado. We were playing against Nebraska. And he pulled on an outside run, and he got his hands into the outside linebacker, and it was at the north end of Folsom Field. He drove him all the way through the end zone, through that little area, and pinned him against the wall.
Damn.
And I thought, man, I remember watching that going, dude, if I was that linebacker, I'm going to sneak out over here and just go up in the court. The dude pinned me against the wall, man.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Go change your number or something, dog. Damn.
And that's just how he played the game. And I watched Chauncey Gooden's film. I did a little film analysis on him that I posted up, and his film is fantastic. I mean, I think he's somewhat raw in the pass protection, but they don't throw the ball that much, where he's playing. But he's actually got pretty good feet and hands, good pad level. And I'll tell you what, one of the hardest things to teach in pass protection is, it's sort of passive, you're backing up, but it's got to be violent. So that first punch, you got to time it, and you got to knock dudes out. And I saw several times on his film where he threw his first punch, and the dude went like a tumbleweed.
Yes, strong hands.
Yeah,
definitely that punch. That punch is real.
Heavy hands. We used to call heavy hands.
Heavy hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love everything about this kid. I think he's a level above any of the guards we had on the team this year in terms of his talent and size level, and I think he's going to be very special right off the bat.
Yeah.
I was joking with William on our signing day preview show that I was starting to get carpal tunnel because I'm having to list out the offers that all these guys had outside of Colorado. And Chauncey Gooden was one of those where it was like, how many offers did this I think it was like 40 when I got done there. And he committed really early, an early point of the recruiting process. I was told that he's a Clemson lock. Don't even worry about reaching out to Chauncey Gooden to do an interview because he's not going to Colorado. And he came out to Boulder and just fell in love. And it was like the second he committed, he turned into one of their best recruiters. I was writing about that today. And so just the passion that he has for Colorado goes a long way in terms of kind of, I think with Jordan Seaton, it's going to be a little bit of a changing of the guard on that offensive line. You'll have some other guys that are returning as well, but those are going to be kind of the pieces for the future, I feel like. And the fact that both of them just have great personalities, I think helps.
And that that's another thing. It's like, he's a guy in the huddle to be a leader and bring more out of the guys around him, because you like playing with guys you like, and he's those guys that you like to be with. And he's going to be a hoot, I think, in the footage in the weight room with Coach Mo, both in terms of the kind of weight he's going to throw around, but just his personality and such is going to be a lot to have around.
Yeah, and me saying that I wasn't as high on his pass is just giving praise, I think, more to his run game ability. I think he's just a natural, athletic, strong run blocker. And as he gets,
his run game film, I said this to Adam, is the best I've seen in 10 years. I mean, it was just phenomenal.
Yeah. So once he continues to practice and get teaching in the pass game, I think he's going to be just as good, and I think he is a projected starter and could be an all-conference type guy. If he comes in and does exactly what he's supposed to do, can play the center and the guard position. Where do you think he'll project that mostly and probably play the rest of his career at?
Well, I mean, I think it feels to me like our center position is a little bit of a question mark right now, but I think Andre Giroux at CU played both center and guard, and ultimately I think most of his career in the NFL was at guard. But I think Gooden could be equally good at either one, and just kind of whatever your team needs. I think he's got All-American potential now. Somebody on our board said, "Well, he's not Seaton." I was like, "Well, who the hell is?" Damn, man!
Come on, man!
Jordan Seaton's a first pick in the draft kind of a guy,
I just think that shows that's a good thing. If everybody's trying to measure us off of Jordan Seaton's caliber, okay, well, great. Then all right, keep on doing that. We'll try to measure up to it,
Right. And I think I think we got a little spoiled, Adam. Before the season, I was a little bit reluctant to plug him right into that starting spot because you don't know what a freshman, I mean, as good as they may be, they come in, maybe they can't handle the different speed in the game or whatever. And Jordan Seaton was right in there, and by the end of the season, he's one of the best, not only one of the best freshman left tackles in the country, one of the best left tackles in the country.
Yeah, and you know, as a former offensive line coach, that you don't see a lot of true freshmen coming in and playing major college football on the offensive line to be strong enough and smart enough
and
to last the whole season. Come on,
right? And lacking that technique, or you got to learn that technique. But the other thing about left tackle is it's kind of like cornerback, man. You play cornerback, you're going to get beat. Okay.
Yeah.
And you got to man up and not pout about it. Get your butt back in the damn game. And if you get beat at left tackle, you line back up and you just keep on playing, learn a lesson from it, move on. So, I was very encouraged by Jordan Seaton, that Phil Oldhole had him ready to go, and he got better week by week, until by mid-season, it just sort of clicked on, and if he's not one of the best left tackles in college football next season, I don't know who would be.
Yeah. I'll say this real quick. I heard someone say that Oklahoma had 34 plus sacks this season, and that was the most that they've had in a long time. Guess who's missing?
Yeah. Hey, you get me rolling on offensive line, man. We'll be here all night.
Hey, I'm all with you. I played tight end, here and there. While I was tight end, slot receiver, and H-back. So a lot of my meetings were with the offensive line group. So I learned quickly that offensive line coaches don't play.
One of my kids that I coached out in North Carolina had offers from the entire ACC and ended up going to play at Princeton, but he came out and spent a summer with me the next year in Colorado. And one of the coaches here in Colorado said I was too hard on the kids. And I said, "Hey, Mike, is that true?" He said, "Coach, if you didn't come out cussing at us at practice, we thought maybe you didn't like us anymore."
Right.